Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we are actually, spoiler alert, it's not really a spoiler alert, it's more of an explanation alert.
Yeah.
This is the first episode of 2025 that we're actually recording
in 2025. Here we are in 2025 with you listening. We are on the same year.
I will say,
as opposed to last episode.
Because of the way we do things, we always record the beginning of a season of GMM, or the first Ear Biscuit. We always record the thing that's the first thing that you see in the next year in the previous year. And without fail, there's just a slew of comments that are like, you can tell they seem rested. You can tell that they had a little bit of a reset. And
hey, that's us, man.
And you don't.
That's called red light talent.
It's called people see what they want to see. You're seeing us at the end of our rope, at the very end of the year. We're like,
can we just make it?
Everything's just, we're trying to fit it all in, and then we record a month's worth of GMM. And they seem so rested and reset. You see what you want to see. It's okay.
They
so
give
do
us
I.
that. Sometimes we'll be told by Stevie and others. It comes from all angles. I'm sure, Jenna. I'm sure you've told us this too at different times. It's like, remember, we're in next year, so let's bring that New Year energy.
Yeah, you can't act like it's the end of a year.
There was a little of that, prodding us to give that New Year energy, but look at us with the actual New Year energy. I mean, look at this beard, Rhett.
I don't have a lot of energy. I'll explain in a second. Yeah, you got.
This is my New Year beard.
Is this your holiday beard that's spilling over, or is this the 2025 Link?
This is just spilling over. Oh. I always think when I get to this stage and it's not as itchy anymore, it's like just on the precipice of not being itchy at this length. I'm like, well, maybe I should just keep it. I've done the hard work. But then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, with a simple flick of a clippers to turning them on and then a grazing of the bearded area to reduce it to almost nothing, I can lose 15 years of percepted age. Percepted, is that a word?
I don't know if that's true.
Is it? It's because this is so gray up top now. Is this all an illusion to me only? Everyone knows how old I am except for me?
I think that people, first of all, a beard does age people.
It's somewhat white, dude.
But I think that, I don't know I think when people look at your hair, I think they think prematurely gray. I don't think they think he's old. Because you could just see, you're like, wait, his face doesn't look old.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't think, it's like, when you look at Anderson Cooper, do you think of a 75-year-old or you're like, that dude's got really premature white hair?
Anderson Cooper's not 75.
Exactly.
Well, why would I?
It's still 2025 and you haven't gotten any smarter.
I'm telling you right now, I never thought I didn't say I look 75.
No, I'm saying that Anderson Cooper has white hair.
Plus 15 is
Anderson
61.
Cooper looks no older than he actually is. I would say Anderson Cooper.
So you want me to keep the beard?
Is 50 years old. How old is he? For real.
You want me to keep the beard is what I'm asking.
I say I don't care, man.
Come on.
He's 57.
57. Look, I said he looked 50. He's 57. I'm saying you look exactly the same age to me.
I keep a little bit of a beard for Christy, and I gave her a lot of beard to see what the results would be.
You keep it for her? I thought she didn't like it.
She does like it.
For years, she didn't like it.
Well, I was doing some weird facial hair stuff. I think
she doesn't like weird facial hair.
No, like different mustache configurations and whatnot.
You're much less likely to be accused of being a lesbian.
That's something.
I mean, whether or not that matters to you, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm a bit tired of it, Well, now I'm gonna think about it. Everybody knows I love lesbians.
I love lesbians. I love them
Make a new
so
t-shirt.
much.
Loves them. I love some lesbians. Everybody knows that. But I'm not one. And that's why I love them so much, because they're...
And you're not one of those straight guys who makes jokes about how, I actually am a lesbian. That people do that too.
Oh, that's a dumb joke.
It's a dumb joke.
Because we both like women?
Like, I like women. I get it. I get it.
I'm glad to be back, man. I know that you're in a different place and I do want to hear about it. And
Emotionally?
I know that you traveled home.
Spiritually?
And I know Christy and I had a protracted conversation conjecturing about the travel with your dogs. I know that you and Jessie took Barbara and Sean back to North Carolina, and don't tell me yet, because I don't know if they're back, because I know you're back, but Jessie's not back. And so we were trying to figure out what was it like taking your dogs on their first plane trip, and did Rhett bring them back alone? And so we were kind of wagering on that, but it's hard to wager when
there are other options. There are other options. Everything is not binary.
So I'm curious about that, but we can use that as a teaser, and I can tell you a little bit about my trip first.
Yeah, it seems like you had a fun trip.
It's a new year, and we're all about setting goals and actually hitting them. What you fuel your body with matters, and that's why we're talking about Huel, H-U-E-L.
Their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete meal in a bottle, high in protein, low in sugar, and packed with all the nutrients you need to perform at your best.
We've got Huel in our fridge here at the office. I'm gonna move some to the Creative House because I love being able to grab one of these and just know that my meal's taken care of. Because sometimes I just lose sight of eating.
Right.
Because I get tied up in the other stuff I'm sighted on.
Well, it works for you because it's a perfectly balanced meal, taking the guesswork out of healthy eating. No prep, no cooking, just grab a Huel for your most inconvenient meals.
It tastes amazing. Kind of like a milkshake. You can choose from chocolate or vanilla. I like vanilla, with both options being low in sugar.
Affordable and budget friendly with high protein meals under $5. My favorite is Black Edition ready to drink. 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, all in one bottle.
Take the leap and join the community of Hueligans with this exclusive offer to new customers of 15% off plus a free gift with the code EAR at Huel.com.
Start your year off strong with Huel, nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters, and use code EAR at Huel.com.
You know what, every time we have an open position here at Mythical or a new position is created, it's crucial to get somebody in that role, to get them doing their thing as quickly as possible. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's important.
And when it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs helps you stand out and hire fast.
With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster.
And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs.
Plus, with Indeed sponsored jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results.
How fast is Indeed? In the minute we've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed according to Indeed data worldwide.
Did you make those offers? Somebody else
Not
did?
personally.
Okay, yeah, because we were doing this.
Right.
There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. You will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ears. That's ear with an S.
Just go to Indeed.com/ears right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast.
Indeed.com/ears. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. My mom came into town for Christmas. We had a great little Christmas. I love the fact that, Lincoln's not as much into it right now, but Lily
Christmas?
and Lincoln are both into record collecting. So I've given them the vinyl bug, and like Lando has it big time. I'm just so happy about that. So much vinyl floating around and a new record player. For Christmas, but we went to Whistler to go snowboarding and skiing after Christmas. So we left on the 27th, and my mom flew home, and we flew to Canada, to the northern land. It's a country above us. It's huge.
Yep.
Part of it is right on the coast above Washington. and Vancouver is there.
Thank you for telling us.
They make a lot of movies there, apparently.
Yeah.
So we spent the first day in Vancouver because we had never been. Me, Christy, Lincoln, and Lando. And then we met up with our friends who are Canadian. It was their idea for us to go to their land.
Are they from this area?
And they are from this area, yeah. Good friend Alex is from Vancouver Island. There's so many little islands, and they've got this like emphatic ferry system that they really like to talk about it emphatically. It's a good system, they say. It moves you from island to island, and you can commute. Oh, I live on this little island, but I work over here. And
Well, why would they talk down their ferry system?
if it wasn't good, yeah, I don't know.
What's the alternative?
Are you suspicious? You still don't think it's good?
No, I mean, the alternative is bridges.
Right. That's bridges. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you're a civil engineer.
Bridges are much harder to build than people realize. I saw
And then a ship might
I
run
saw
into them.
an argument on
You saw it.
I saw
yeah.
an argument
Okay, social media.
emerging online and somebody
Bridges versus ferries?
No, somebody drew a
Like,
line.
it's the new pirates versus...
Somebody drew a line from Chicago to whatever big city is on the other side of that Great Lake.
Detroit. They were talking about Detroit.
And they're like, why don't they just build a bridge here? And I was like, you don't know, you have no idea what it takes to build a bridge. You think you can build a bridge across the Great Lake?
Well, it is a lake, though. When it's called a lake, it seems like it could be bridged.
I mean, that would be like the infrastructure project of our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have no idea what would be required to do that.
Oh, well, you know.
It made me upset.
I know, this kind of hurt my feelings.
And they're like all the way to Detroit?
And it was like,
What?
you could kind of just drive around it. Like, it's not that much longer just to drive on the shoreline, on the road. Anyway, bridges are they're difficult to build. That's why it's hard to become a civil engineer. Because it takes a lot of know-how.
Yeah.
Lots can happen with bridges.
Everybody knows Rhett respects bridges.
Everybody knows I know bridges are hard to build. I had to work on the wordsmithing of that.
You've never been to Vancouver, right?
No, I've only been to the other side of Canada.
Toronto. We went to Toronto together. Great food. That was
I love Canada.
We went to the Niagara Fall on their side.
Yeah.
Yep. We went in a Roots store, which is like clothing brand.
Oh.
Anyway, Vancouver was a bit dreary. You know, I think the sun does hit occasionally, but it's that Seattle vibe, which makes total sense. They're pretty close. You could build a bridge from Seattle to Vancouver.
And it's the wintertime, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold it against them.
Short days, probably.
Yeah.
Even shorter.
I can't say I noticed that because I never saw the sun while I was in Vancouver, so I didn't really know. I guess I knew what was day and what was night. I'm gonna try to be smarter from here on out. I've used my quota today.
But tell me about the snowboarding.
Whistler, whenever I told anybody who was going, everybody was so excited. It is the largest ski resort by area in North America.
So it's bigger than
Yes. It's
Park
bigger than
City and
yes, by far.
which is the biggest one in America.
Maybe, probably.
Right?
Now that it's the canyons and
Yeah.
Park City together.
So it's way bigger than that.
Oh yeah, it might be 2/3 bigger. It's the largest on the planet outside of Europe. Which, does that impress you? It's got the.
But it's more better.
It's got the. That is a good question. The conditions were great. The crowds were dispersed because there's that much places to go.
So more is better.
It's two mountains, so you go in one direction or the other, and then there's a peak-to-peak gondola, which is the longest contiguous gondola in the world.
Could have been a bridge.
Could have been a bridge.
Just as easily.
So the sheer scope of this thing, on my first trip, it was kind of hard for me to really feel the size, but by the third day, we snowboarded 4 days in a row, which was a little bit more than my body could take. I would rather do 5 days and have a rest day in the middle. Like, by the end of the third day, I took a couple of falls, and it could have been bad.
Okay.
And it's you know, Jacob, what is Jacob? He's our production head.
He's our
VP,
COO.
COO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, you know, COO. He's
Titles.
awesome.
Words.
He's so
titles.
important. He has titles. He's awesome. He really screwed up his knee at Whistler. Yeah. And I was talking a lot of shit because it was on a green. And of course I hadn't gone. I was like, you know, I shouldn't talk so much shit to him but none of my falls resulted in major injuries, just like some neck soreness or whatever. Like I did plant on my face and then do kind of a flip hinging with my face on the ground. Like face hits, body goes over.
How fast you going?
Not too fast, Rhett. I mean, the blues were, I'm a blue guy now, but the blues were they were pushing me. And when you get tired, you just got to know your limits.
And is Lincoln and Lando basically staying with you the whole time?
Lando skis, Lincoln snowboards, and we are staying together. And then my friend Alex is more he's a little more wild with it. So,
He's on one of those. He's on the little short skis that look like
no,
Big Feet, right?
No, he's not. He's on a snowboard.
There's always somebody on those.
He's always ahead or zooming past us or whatever. So he's making me seem like I'm going slow, which I feel like, okay, I'm in a good place. It was fabulous. You get to this one place, like you go over this hill, and then there's a couple of lifts over there in this one area, and it's like, this is just a resort. This is Mammoth here. Just this one part that you have to ski like a few lifts to get over to this place. So it was a lot of fun, really enjoyed it. But the thing that I want to report most wholeheartedly about are the foods that Canada has to offer us that we really need to seriously consider bringing into our American lifestyle.
Wow.
Some of these you know about.
You went on a trip, and the thing that you noted was the food. It's just growth.
I'm trying to connect with you.
Oh, really?
I missed you so much. I was like, I'm gonna give him something that's gonna perk him up. All right, so we're driving. It's the 2.5-hour drive to Whistler is one of the most scenic drives that you can take. That's what they say. I mean, it actually is. It's like going on the coastline of the PCH, but then instead of it just being an ocean out there, it's a huge body of water with a bunch of huge islands in it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. We stopped in Squamish, which is this like hiking, rock climbing town, like halfway there on the 2.5-hour drive. They had some famous donuts that we were gonna get, but the place wasn't open. So then we had to use the bathroom. Christy needed to get a coffee, so she went in. They got something called a Starbucks. So she went in there and got a coffee. And I went into the grocery store to get some snacks. And I really just wanted to use the bathroom and get a snack. But when I got in there, I was like, this is my opportunity to come back and be like, Dad doing Canada. I'm bringing back Canadian snacks. But I was in a hurry, so I grabbed some ketchup chips.
Yep.
Got to do that. And then I looked right beside it, and I saw them. The All Dressed, which we know about and we've had on the show. I grabbed those too. I grabbed some peanut butter cups, which worth talking about beyond that, and some Canadian bottled water, which I won't mention anymore either.
Huh?
Get back to the car. Chrissy's not back. I was like, what? Where? The kids were in the car. I was like, where's Chrissy? She's still in. She was like, no, she went in the store. The store I went into? Yeah, she went in there because you weren't back. And then I see her walking back, and she's like so happy. And she gets in the car, and she's like, look what I got. And she pops out the ketchup chips.
Ooh.
And then I like reach in the back seat, and I'm like, look what I got. We got the exact same bag of ketchup chips, which are good, right?
Oh, they're great.
Ketchup chips are great. I mean, they're hard to find in America, if at all.
And it's weird that they're not here.
It's weird. I mean, ketchup is
like
kind of an our thing, right?
And it's not like we have like standards.
Yeah.
It's not like we're like above it.
Have you seen our chip aisle? Exactly. We got everything, but for some reason, we're not going back and scooping up ketchup chips. We're like leaving that to Canada, you know?
It's strange.
It is strange. But I opened them all dressed too. I was like, I also got these. Did you get these? And she said, no, I didn't know about those. And I was like, see, kids, Canadian dad things. And
they're better.
They are so much better. The all dressed,
Yeah.
they are ketchuped. Ketchup is part of it.
They're everything.
Vinegar is part of it.
Little ranch.
No, I think it's, there's like one more thing on the front. There's an onion. I think there's an onion on the front, vinegar, and then like a tomato. So it's not like it's got everything in it. It's not like it's got ranch and barbecue.
It's like all the way. It's like all the way doesn't mean everything under the sun.
Yeah. But they're so good. And then we try to go back to the ketchup chips, and it's hard to go back to a ketchup chip when you've gone all dressed.
You can't. You have to start with ketchup.
It's like getting dressed up and then like getting really dressed up. You know when you wear those pants that, we get dressed up. We have those pants that like, they have the button, but then there's another button over here.
I've never once buttoned it.
And then there's another button down here.
I
and
only
then
do one
there's
button.
all these special buttons that no one knows about except you.
Yeah.
And I always button them buttons. But then it's hard when you gotta go pee.
That's right.
You know?
That's why I don't do it.
That's why you don't go to ketchup chips after all dressed. If you get all dressed, don't try to strip down to ketchup. It's not gonna be as good.
Is the ketchup in this scenario peeing?
It's getting down to your underwear.
Okay.
It's getting down to your underwear.
So that's
Then-
one thing you
then-
want us to have is all dressed or ketchup or both?
All dressed.
Okay, got it.
Not the ketchup.
Got it.
I actually don't care about the ketchup.
Okay.
Just like you don't care about my beard, apparently. Second thing is, and you know this, we need more poutine in our lives down here.
Yeah.
What is the problem? You can go into like a fast food store, any place that serves fries up there. They will give you I said ketchup. Can we scratch that from the record?
Yeah, edit that out.
They will give you gravy.
Yeah.
Because it's Canada. French fries. Oh, you got those? Well, you want a cup of gravy? Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Do you want some little cheese turds? Yes, I do. I mean, we went to this breakfast place, and they had this whole section that was nothing but breakfast poutines. It was like OEB was the name of the place. It's like a little chain. I recommend it. They had like truffle pork poutine, poached egg breakfast bowls. It was just like, but gravy is just so good on fries.
It is, but I actually think that it's good that we don't have it.
Oh?
Okay, so
You talking about denying yourself pleasures?
I'm talking about that, but I'm also talking about if everywhere you go,
Yeah.
you have everything that you could possibly want,
Yeah.
then it's like it just loses its special.
Why go anywhere?
You know, it's like you're like, okay, we could easily decide to put gravy on French fries. It's not hard,
Right.
you know. I could probably do it.
Yeah,
I could probably do it in the next 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you can do it in the next 10 minutes, but
I could. They got instant gravy at the grocery store, and I can
Well,
go to McDonald's.
are you factoring in sending someone to get stuff and you're not counting their time?
No, I think I could get it in 10 minutes.
All right.
And I'd warm it up. I put it on there. But it's good that we don't have everything here. We need to deny ourselves things, and we need to keep things special.
Yeah.
In fact, the only explanation for why there's not ketchup chips, all dressed chips, and poutine widely accessible in America is that there are people who know this, probably the deep state,
Yeah.
and they are actively working to keep some things out of America.
Keep poutine at bay.
Yeah, because it's too good.
Keep poutine at customs.
Because if the average American just thinks for a moment, which
More than 10 minutes.
right, if they think for a moment, you mean I can
Let's
just
say
have
let's say if we think for a moment.
gravy on my French fries
Right.
within 10 minutes at any time? They're gonna start doing it.
That's
we
gonna be bad
can't
news.
let them realize that.
It didn't
Because then it won't
learn
be
the
special.
Canadians. That's what's so interesting. It would ruin us.
Yeah, well,
That would be our downfall. Poutine coming in hard is going to be America's downfall.
Send it.
Send it, she said. So
Send us your poutine.
I mean, we were on the slopes eating poutine, homie.
Oh, yeah.
Woo-wee! Biggest slopes in North America. Poutine out the wazoo.
A plate of French fries is as bad for you as 23 cigarettes.
No, that's
I mean, I just saw that on TikTok.
You read it.
I don't believe it. But that was a TikTok and I watched it. 23 cigarettes?
It's in your mind. Now you put it, you can't misuse your influence.
Why
like
23?
that. You can't repeat
This is a Michael Jordan fact.
shit
I don't know.
like that.
I don't think
23 cigarettes.
French fries could give you lung cancer. I don't know.
I don't know.
Every cigarette you smoke takes 7 minutes off your life.
Is that true?
I saw that on TikTok too.
And every plate of French fries you eat takes 7 times 23.
No. That math don't.
Oh, I'd be dead
No,
already.
that
I'd be
math
dead
don't work.
already.
And you put gravy on there. That's another foot in the grave.
I'm gonna show you a picture, Rhett, of the last thing, because yes, my third and final Canadians have done it, and we need to take pause, is pictured here. Now, this is a picture I took of a canister of this that we had. My Canadian friends bought this, and I was like, what is this?
Is smooth cremeux? Cremeux?
Smooth, and cremeux is just the French translation of the word smooth, right?
It's just called smooth?
This is peanut butter.
Oh.
It doesn't have.
It doesn't say peanut
doesn't
butter
say
on it.
peanut
It's got
butter
two
anywhere.
bears on it.
It says Kraft, and then it's got two peanut butter colored bear heads that look like they could be balloons. It's the most generic peanut butter jar I've seen. I mean, like there's a lot that tie it as generic, but they're all generic. This is a Kraft branded
peanut butter.
Kraft peanut butter.
Which we don't have that?
We don't have this.
What is again? The only explanation is the deep state.
But let me tell you about the taste. This is Peter Pan on crack.
Is it sweet?
It's like if Peter Pan snorted crack and then made peanut butter,
It probably wouldn't be.
this is what it would be. This is what it would be. It's sweet. It is not good for you. It's
cut all the bad oils.
it's wonderful.
It's really hydrogenated.
I didn't read anything on the back. All I did was look at these two generic bears and say, work on your label and let's bring this to America. I know you're a Jif guy. You know, I grew up a Peter Pan boy. So now that I'm a Peter Pan man, I can talk about him smoking crack, snorting cocaine, and I can eat his peanut butter, which is Kraft, actually.
So what is so special? They need to put peanut butter on the label.
I didn't know it was
That's the
so.
first thing.
And it says light on it. It actually says light.
But why don't we have this?
Smooth light. It does say peanut butter over there. It's really small.
It needs to be the big part.
It's like if Peter Pan was just a little bit better. I can't explain it any differently than that. It's exactly the same.
So still not as good as Jif.
It's not. Jif is more peanutty than Peter Pan.
My favorite
Peter Pan
actually
is,
right
is
now-
almost like candy version of Jif. So if you like that idea, go to Canada.
The best peanut butter right now
And
for
get
me,
this.
Skippy Natural.
That's what I get because I feel like it's better for me.
It might be.
And that's what we have in our house. But for a special occasion,
But you got to get it shipped.
a special sweetness occasion,
You could probably get
this
it
is
shipped.
this is my jam.
But see, you don't want to do that either. It's like this just
Why doesn't Kraft? Kraft is an American company. The cheese,
Yeah, this
the
one's-
slices.
this one's really perplexing.
It's called American cheese, and when you think of American cheese, what do you think of? Kraft slices, right? Yes,
People have died because of this, I guarantee you.
Kraft peanut butter is not even here.
Somebody, multiple people have died under mysterious circumstances because of this. There is no
Right.
explanation
There's no other reason.
for why we don't have Kraft peanut butter.
Right. It's a cover-up. Either that or like the label
could
is
have been
horrendous.
You could have been the whistler blower.
Rhett! That's why I keep coming back every year, Rhett. I mean, there were a few days there when I was like, I might not come back.
Yep.
And that's and now I
be
know
here
I
all
made the
year.
right choice. I made the right choice. You'll make the right choice to become a member of the Mythical Society. I just want to remind you that it houses things that you can't see anywhere else, including Good Mythical Evening 1 and now Good Mythical Evening 2 are there forever for second and third degree members. Okay, if you're a third degree member, you also get the after show from that year. Go to mythicalsociety.com in order to stream that hell-raising event.
I had an incredible start to the new year. We were in North Carolina, of course, and
Well, you were there for Christmas too.
yeah. I was there from
Okay.
over 2 weeks. My wife is still there. So we had a great Christmas, celebration. It wasn't like we got both families together for one day like we did for Thanksgiving. That's a Thanksgiving thing.
Okay.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. I'll get back to the Sean and Barbara of it all. But the beginning of the new year. So Jessie had been sick right after Christmas on like the 26th, or maybe even on Christmas Day. She was like, I'm not feeling great. I think I'm getting sick. And I was like, no, you're not. You gotta tell the sickness that it's not real.
Right. You gotta. Words have power, apparently.
But she succumbed to it.
Oh.
And it ended up being a really intense cold, which wasn't COVID or the flu as far as we know, but it was some third thing, which a lot of people have been talking about this third thing. People are getting sick. Again,
They call it third thing?
I see it I'm using that. No, they say that there's
You got the
something.
third thing?
There's something that's not COVID and flu that's making people have COVID and flu-like symptoms, and nobody knows what it is. Maybe it's just.
You took a flu test? She did?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, I'll let
So
you.
she was sick for 3 or 4 days, and when, we had plans, we had things that we wanted to do and people that we wanted to see. And it wasn't just like I've got a little bit of a cold. It was she was basically lying down for most of the day, and
Fever?
we're like sleeping in different beds.
Coughing?
If she's coughing during the night, so I go to a different bed.
Yeah.
But so she starts getting better. She gets better just in time for New Year's Eve. We go out with my brother and his wife on New Year's Eve, and I'm. As the hour is approaching, the hour of 2025, I'm like, my throat's getting a little scratchy. And I'd already told myself that I wasn't going to get this sickness.
Right.
I mean, I've only been sick 2 times in the past 5 years, and it was the 2 times I got COVID. So I was like, I'm a new man. I don't get sick unless it's this novel coronavirus. And I was like, I just need some rest. I go to sleep. I wake up. New Year's Day, the beginning of 2025, and I'm like, I'm sick. And
How so?
it was just one of those things that you can kind of just tell that everything is going south, and this is not allergies. You can feel it deeper.
Oh.
And that night, the night of the 1st, thanks to my Oura ring, I was able to tell that I had 103 temperature.
That's it right there.
And so I was like, I've got COVID because I get the high fever. I respond the same way every time. I got COVID. I need to get it. I'll get a test, and that way Jessie will know that that's what she had, and we can tell family or whatever. But I got the test that gives you both the COVID and the flu results, and it was negative. I took one test. Maybe it was. But my wife gave it to me. That was the gift that she gave me at the beginning. Of the year, is unleashing this biological weapon on me.
Yeah. You're in the same house. You didn't sleep together, but that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and
Maybe she slunk in when you were sleeping and just breathed on you.
And then so then I basically go and I spend the first 3 days of the new year. I'd never do this, and I was like, okay, maybe I needed a reset. This is what I needed. I just watched stuff and I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Except I watched all of Severance.
Hold on, season 1.
Season 1,
Yeah,
because season 2 is
hey,
coming
isn't
out.
it good?
I watched the first episode a long time ago and been like,
Yeah.
I need to get Jessie in on this.
Oh,
and
never
then we
happened.
never did it. And so then I left. She had made me sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna save Severance for her.
Nope.
So I watched that whole season. Incredible. I love it.
I can't wait for the second one.
And I also
Very soon.
many things I love about it, but one of the main things I love about it is that they obviously wrote the first season knowing that really the only way that this story is going to make sense is if we have a second season. And of course it's taken years to make it. But they didn't do the thing that so many TV shows do, which is take people on their full arc in season 1 and basically solve all the problems. And then every subsequent season is just churning out content so people will watch the show. And then you're like, why am I still watching this show?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope they have a master plan that's like spans even more seasons.
I read about it.
Okay.
I read about like the creative process and the writing of it and the
Did Ben
splintering.
Stiller write it or just
He directs a few
acquired
episodes.
the rights and directed it?
I know he's an EP, and I know that he directs a few episodes. I
think
know he's involved in this.
I think he was very involved for a long time.
But
trying to bring it to fruition.
There's everyone has 2 lives, and there's so many choices that you can make in the way that everything impacts one another.
Well, the only thing we need to tell you if you don't know anything is there's technology so that your work life and your non-work life are completely separate. You're like you have no awareness of your other self. It's like you're 2 different people.
And they do a lot with that premise. Anyway, I watched that. I watched a number of movies, but I'm still
Because you would set up like a home theater system in your cabin, right?
Oh yeah, so I've made the most of that.
Do you have couches in there, or just recliners?
We have a couch.
Oh my God!
And then we have a platform behind that with another couch.
Oh shit!
So you can comfortably, fit a group of people in there, and like you got a nice shot of the. Yeah, it's great. I spent every day, like all day.
You broke it in.
Yeah.
Ha! And no one else could go in there.
Right. Well, Shepard and Locke were already back here because they wanted to hang out with their LA friends. So it was just me and Jessie. I'm sleeping in another bed. I'm going into the theater. I was hanging out with the dogs.
Okay.
And I would speak with my wife.
But
Mostly for logistical purposes. Right. So yeah, we didn't really get to connect. So my perspective on the New Year is a little bit clouded because I'm still sort of like
in a fever dream.
Well, I am still kind of getting back to normal, and I'm still tired, and I'm still a little congested. So that wasn't a great thing. But I will say, the highlight was bringing Sean and Barbara. I did not anticipate.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I did not
them being there.
Yeah, them being with us for the holidays. I'm a man of convenience, and the dogs can tend to be not very convenient. And so I was always just like, I don't want to have to fly with them and then worry about what we're going to do. And then you got to like think about how long you're gone from where you're going to be. And if like, we're going to go to this person's house or we're going to go out to dinner and like, all the stuff you worry about when you got a dog. But boy.
Especially when you were sick and you couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it was a great call. Now, it didn't necessarily start well. So this is the first time that Sean or Barbara have ever been on a plane. So we got the little doggy carriers that, are supposed to fit under the seat in front of you, which they don't really.
No.
Let's just be honest. They don't, unless you like push the thing down.
You got to smoosh them down.
But I had reason to believe that Barbara was going to do okay. She's mild-mannered, right?
Yeah.
The vet does give you this anti-anxiety medication that you can give the dogs that is supposed to help, which we gave them that. But we put Sean. Now I'm going to say we made a mistake. and did not put Sean in his carrier until it was time to go. Now, we had put, Jessie told me that
he had never experienced
she had put like food in there and he had kind of gone in there and stuff, but he hadn't like been closed in it and carried around.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So we pull up to the.
Yeah, he's throwing her under the bus today.
We pull up to the
twice already
to the airport, and we put Sean in the carrier. We put Barbara in the carrier, and we just like let her head hang out the top, and she's just like looking like this.
Yeah,
like a sphinx.
Periscope,
and she's just fine, and she's not trying to get out. You can't do that with Sean. We put Sean in there. First of all, it was not easy to get him into the thing.
Yeah.
Even though he's like a 9-pound dog. We zip the thing up, and the first thing he starts doing is like, you just see his face through the netting. He's like he's trying to bite his way out. He's flipping out. Now, Sean doesn't bark. He'll bark at you. He'll bark at people. But he doesn't bark when he wants something. He hasn't put it together yet that if you want the people's attention, you can also make noise.
That's good.
So he doesn't understand. I'm glad he doesn't understand because he would have been barking his ass off. He's in there, he's breathing hard, he's sniffing around, and then every time you look down, you see that thing. He's trying to bite through the netting. I'm like, and
he's looking in two directions constantly.
And so I'm carrying Barbara because she's a little bit heavier, and she's a lot bit heavier lately. Barbara really put on some holiday weight.
Yeah.
And so I'm picking. I got Barbara, and Jessie has Sean.
She has a different size carrier, I assume, right?
It's a little bit smaller.
Oh, Barbara's is smaller?
No, Sean is a little bit smaller.
Oh yeah.
I thought when my wife had Sean's carrier.
Okay, yeah.
So it was a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. And we're walking. We're in the airport and we're walking to where we're going to check in, and I just hear from behind me, "He's out!" I turn around and I see Sean running through the airport.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. What?
He's just like trotting. He's like, I don't know where I'm going, but it's not back in that thing.
This was before you even checked your luggage?
Yes. This is on the way to just check in.
Oh shit. No. So this
he
could
had found the zipper on the inside of the thing and unzipped himself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
And I was like, oh God, this is gonna be so difficult.
Well, hold on, you're also at a check-in place where like if you run through a door, you're out on the street.
Oh yeah, you know me. I have travel anxiety.
You are so on edge at this point. This is the point where you were the most of a wreck.
Yeah, I'm not.
Always.
I've gotten
getting out on the curb at the.
Yeah.
Well, you were a wreck, boy.
Well, I am way better than I used to be.
Okay. So let's see how this goes.
Because it took me many years to understand that it was even happening. Now I'm like, okay, you have a tendency to get a little
on edge.
Maybe you should look into like Klonopin or something, but on days that you fly. But
yeah.
I see him running, and at first I'm a little bit scared because this is a busy airport, but he kind of runs, and me and Shepard kind of like cornered him, and he's not like a bolter, so we were able to like shaunt and then pick him up and then stuff him back in there. He goes right back at it.
He knows now. He knows he can get out now.
And
he'd do that for 3 years now.
But then we have to go to this agent assist line because you have to like get your carrier approved and pay the $100 fee or whatever. And so while we're in that line, that was when I made the mistake to bring up the fact that we had not trained, or that someone. And you know what? It's just as much my fault as it is my wife's fault that this didn't happen. I was under the impression, but she was taking care of that, and that was wrong of me. And she was like, "Do not do this right now." Meanwhile, Sean is going. He's like, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because I'm anxious about things like this, and I think that
everybody.
Well, I have this fear.
Has an opinion.
I have this fear that what's going to happen. This is the way my mind works at the airport. I have this fear that I'm going to get up there, and the gate lady is going to be like, "I can tell that your dog does not want to be in there." and so you are not approved. You know, like she's like, clearly he is not happy with his circumstances right now, and he is a danger to himself and others.
Right. If this were a human,
Denied!
We do not let humans acting like this on planes.
Right.
We cannot let dogs either.
But all she did was laugh at him.
Okay.
She just laughed at him. She's like, oh.
If a human is like going up to the check-in line to like give your baggage, and they're like, you're like chewing on your zippers and just like making weird noises, and
Yeah, if
you don't get on that plane.
Well, if you have a person in your party that wants to not be there as much as Sean doesn't want to be there, they probably think it's some sort of kidnapping.
Oh yeah, there's signs in the bathrooms at airports about that.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like I should tell somebody about this. This dog has been kidnapped.
You're washing your hands. There's a sign that says, "Do you need help?"
Yeah. This dog needs help. So,
are you a dog that needs help? Are you a dog from the McLaughlin household?
Meanwhile, Barbara is just like not even making eye contact with anyone. She's not even looking at Sean. She's always annoyed with him.
She's also
But she is just so above it. She's like, you're so immature. It's like, bro, like, yes, this is a new experience, but let's just be here for it. So we eventually get through, and you have to like take him out
to go through the metal detector.
Through the metal detector. And like once he's out, he was like, he was panting because he was so worked up.
You know those masks that they put on falcons?
A muzzle.
It goes over the eyes though.
I don't know if you want to do that with a dog. I don't think he would freak out.
That's what he needs.
It's not an alligator.
Well, you can do it with a horse, and they're smart.
And I kept waiting for this medicine to kick in. It didn't. It didn't.
You got to give him like, what's the allergies?
Benadryl. Well, I don't know.
I don't know if I condone that, but haven't had to worry about that. My dogs are angels.
But I knew that I was going to
when you put a bark collar on Jasper, I do have to do that. Because the problem we had with him was barking at other dogs, and then Jade will bark at small children. Like if a toddler
in the airport.
Yes. That's the problem I have with my dogs is barking. So bark collar on Jasper, and for Jade and Jasper, we throw a blanket over their thing so they can't see anything. So,
yeah, actually helping.
So we curtain
Sean seeing like when we like rolled up, we never used this thing. So we like rolled up one side, and so you could see out, and at that point he could like see out to the side instead of just seeing up, and he calmed down a little bit. We took him to the pet relief area. Did you do this at LAX?
Well, yeah, you got to let the pets relieve themselves.
Well,
you don't drop them off, by the way. It's not a relief for you.
And it's one at a time, and it smells like you are just putting your nose directly on a dog's penis.
Yeah, the tip of it. It is the part where the pee comes out.
It is the worst. I cannot believe
it's turf.
How
it's fake grass.
Like you got to come up with some kind of system to wash this thing. It's unbelievable.
And there's a fake fire hydrant in there they can pee on. But
Sean did pee. Barbara peed. We got him on the plane, and about halfway through the flight, he started calming down a little bit. And
5-hour flight.
And then we took him out and put him on our lap, which you're technically not supposed to do unless it's a service dog. But if you have a small dog, they don't say anything to you about it.
Right. Usually.
I mean, the guy did say, technically, you're not supposed to have the dogs out. You're supposed to have them in the carrier the whole time, but just make sure they stay in place.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing fine. And then on the way back, to answer your question, it was just me and Sean. And so I was like,
hold on. Okay, that was what we were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
Chrissy was like,
I was going to take Sean by myself.
Did we think that since Rhett came back alone that he would bring back the dogs? It's like.
We separated the dogs.
You separated them.
Yeah, because Jessie is.
Divide and conquer.
Jessie is getting like pictures. She's doing her whole like portfolio thing for the cabin. So she's like there with a few people working. And at first,
Barbara could be in some photos.
I couldn't take
because she'll sit there.
I can't take both dogs. You can't. I don't think you could do that if you wanted to.
Oh,
I don't think one person could take two dogs because I'd have 2 seats.
That's right. Probably.
But it also would be just hell. I couldn't do it. We contemplated because we all like our family is nuts. We just every single person in our family flew alone on the way back. So Locke went first. Then 2 days later, Shepard goes by himself, and then I go, and then Jessie's coming back. And I can't even get into the reasons. You wouldn't even understand why we do that. We don't hate each other. But Jessie was like, we can send Sean back with Shepherd. Or like, we can send Barbara back with Shepherd and then Sean back with you, so I won't have any dogs here when I'm trying to work. And I was like, so we're gonna send a minor who's flying alone.
With a dog that's already
with a dog.
Yeah, an escapee and a minor.
And I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that, so we didn't do that.
That's right. Have you seen Con Air?
Because Barbara's easy to take care of. But we, on the way back, now first of all, because I knew that we were gonna fly, I spent a little bit of time during my sickness putting Shepherd, I did name my dog a person's name and my son a dog's name. So you have to forgive me for getting
You put Sean, you'd practice with Sean in the crate.
Yeah, and I would like carry him around and then I would let him out and he seemed to be doing better. And I also I looked online at the upper end of the medication threshold. And I was like, I'm gonna give him everything I can.
Load him up.
And I think it did calm him down. And he actually wasn't too big of a problem. He tried to get out a little bit. He did bite part of the inside of the crate off. And one time I looked down, there was like just this piece of cloth just like sitting there in his mouth. I was like,
So what are the lasting ramifications of your trip?
Oh, but the main thing was how much we enjoyed the dogs while we were there. They seemed to be, they were kind of blown away by this new environment.
Wow, guys, I've heard so much about this cabin.
And also blown away by just the outside. Because it's like,
Wood, yeah.
it's woods and there's grass and it's cold and there's deer. And
You expanded their lives.
they were just like, oh, this is, like, because, they don't see real grass unless I take them on a walk. Because we've got that little patch.
Yeah.
Our yard is a little patch of fake
Real
grass,
grass.
and then that's it.
Do you let them run around freely in the woods?
Um,
Do they come when they're called?
so they come when they're called. Barbara comes when she's called. Well, they come if they want to come. So no.
Yeah. Jasper will come if he's called,
but
Jade will not ever. So she never is off leash, but Jasper.
No, but they do not. They never run away. Like they're not bolters. They're not like the dogs you had in the 80s.
Right.
That like as soon as they got out anywhere, they ran as fast as they could away.
Yeah, that's how dogs were in the 80s. That's just what dogs were.
Yeah, they were trying to
Now they're
get
different.
away from something.
Yeah. Captivity, because that's kind of what we had them in.
So what we would do is Sean needs to be given the opportunity to use the bathroom. He will not take that opportunity on his own. So every little bit, every few hours, you're like, all right, come on guys. And I would open the door and they would just go out and they had a little spot that they went to. And then at times, like they would walk a little bit further and they would like go into the woods a little bit and they would get like leaves all over their hair. And then they would come back and I would pull it off. But no, they had a great time.
Now you're going to keep taking them if you're there for at least a certain amount of time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Which is what? Is it still a week or does it have to be longer?
We might take them for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know. But they were just, in fact.
I'm glad.
Sean was
You'll be like me. You'll start taking them on vacations.
He was so happy. He was so happy. I don't think I would take them on a vacation where I wasn't staying at someplace that was my space. I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, an Airbnb is a little
There are hotels that are dog friendly, but I've never done that. So that's this is new in 2025 for you. You're traveling with your dogs more, going back home.
And Sean was so happy there, and now he's not that happy. He needs Barbara. She does not need him.
Yeah,
but she needs Barbara.
Jade
He
is
needs Barbara.
Jasper's emotional support animal.
So you can kind of see that he's sort of like, there's something. I need that woman and that female dog. I need both of them. When are they getting back?
I think the lasting impact of my trip was Justin Trudeau quit. Did you hear about that?
While you were there, it's because of you, maybe.
I don't know. Sorry about that. If you were, I don't know. I think a lot of people aren't sorry about it, but like the Canadian guy quit. And I'm sorry if I had a role in that. I don't know if I did, but maybe I did.
It's probably just coincidence.
Maybe I did.
Is what I'm guessing.
I want to get to one call at least.
Okay. Yep.
Because we love your calls, and in this new year, we're not going to forget about them. 1-888 EarPod 1 is the number. Call us like this person did.
Hey, Rhett Link. This is Amy from Colorado. I'm in a bit of a predicament because my name's not actually Amy, but it's the name I use whenever I order something over the phone. So I have been getting my nails done from the same person for like 2.5 years. And since I always call to make my appointment, I've said my name is Amy, and she calls me Amy. And then we got so close that she invited me over to her house to do my nails for free. And she's done that for a while. And she'll like feed me at her house and stuff. And I feel like I'm almost a friend or a daughter figure to her. And she has no idea what my name is. And like sometimes I get her Starbucks, and since my real name is on the mobile order ahead thing, I take those off so she doesn't see. And I had to change my Venmo name for when I tip her too. So,
Every
what do
time?
you think I should do? Should I keep living the lie, or how can I introduce my real name into the situation if needed? Thanks. I love you.
I'm under the impression that she changes her Venmo name every time she Venmos her and then changes it back, because I see no other way around this.
Or she just changed it permanently.
No, because she's Venmoing other people, and she can't be doing that. Who's this Amy? You know? Wow,
I would like to know
you've really painted yourself into a corner
I
here.
would like to know what your actual name is, because if your name
What in the
was
nail
like,
tech?
if it was like Annie, if it was something pretty close to Amy, you could just probably make the switch.
Yeah,
Probably
maybe
make the switch.
And then you could just say, you've just been pronouncing my name wrong the whole time.
Yeah. Shamey?
Yeah,
Amy?
put it on her. Wow, she's becoming you're becoming a daughter figure to her, and you're operating under an alias.
I think I have a great solution to this. I think this is quite an opportunity to actually go deeper with the relationship.
Okay.
So let's just say your real name is Cheryl, because in order to explain this, I just need to give you a name.
Yeah.
So the next time you go over there and she's like, Amy, how are you doing? You say, I'm doing really good. And there's something I want to talk to you about. I really appreciate, the time that we have together. And I feel like, it started as just you doing my nails. And now I feel like we actually have a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And oh. Oh my God! That was
I tried to
bless
make
you,
it
Amy.
quiet.
that
and
was
it
a
ended up louder.
that was a cartoon sneeze. That was like an Animaniac sneeze.
Yeah. Bless you,
lit-
Dot.
You literally said "Ha chew."
I'm so sorry. I tried to make it quiet and it didn't work. Okay.
Jenna, you're a valuable contributor to Ear Biscuits,
Whatever it
and
takes.
we're glad to have you.
It's so dusty today. I'm sorry.
And because of how close I feel like we're getting, I want to let you know that I let those closest to me call me Cheryl,
Oh,
which is my
pet name. It's my my Finsta. It's my Finsta name,
yeah.
but the opposite.
Yeah.
It's my Realsta. What's the real Instagram name called?
Your
name?
Instagram?
Oh. Oh. Okay. So this deepens the connection, because
Right.
now you're on the inside.
It's you're moving even closer, but revealing the truth at the same time. You're lying, but you're revealing the truth.
I don't see why you can't do that and reveal the truth as part of it. It's not as fun, but the sentiment will still be there. But what you're sidestepping is the awkwardness that she doesn't want to have that moment of saying, "You've been lied to by me."
Yeah.
I say there's nothing broken here. I say this is a tremendous opportunity to lean into your alternate identities, and you should start to think about doing it more often. We are different people to different people. The relationships that we have, you're perceived and understood and experienced differently depending on who it is. And I think you should have different names everywhere. I think back to
like a club name.
the old Seinfeld episode where George is talking about how he doesn't like his work George and like home George. He doesn't like his
It's like Severance.
those to be mixed exactly like Severance, except you have a totally different name. Your name signifies that. It's like having if somebody calls you on your burner phone, then you know the type of person you're gonna be, because you're gonna do your burner phone business. You're not on your other phone. If somebody hits you up on your Finsta, you're gonna have you immediately know the type of interaction you're gonna have.
It's like last night I called, or Jessie, I called Jessie, and she said hello, and I was like, hey, or said something to her. And then she was like, I'm on speaker with, Lindsay, and then the woman who's doing the pictures.
Yeah.
Who I don't know. And I was like, oh, hey guys, or something like that. And she was like, oh, your voice got a lot lower.
Yeah, and you should have a name for that lower voice.
She was like, when you started talking to these other women in the car with me, your voice got a lot lower. When you were just talking to me, you had a little high voice.
You have your baby
sense.
voice
Yeah,
on for you.
it was a little bit of my baby voice.
I think we should have different names at work. I think we should have different names when shopping, when getting our nails done. I'm getting my nails done more and more often.
How many different?
It's usually my feet. It's exclusively my feet.
How many different? Can't have too many names.
Well, I mean, I can't keep track of a lot of names, but I mean, I could probably keep track of 5 different versions of myself.
I do believe in this, though. There's a thing. People have this. He's the same person. He's always the same person, regardless of the circumstances or regardless of who he's with. And I've always been like,
Really?
okay, that seems a little boring.
Oh.
It's like, why? Yeah, I mean, it's like you're in a different group. Get with the vibe, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in a different group. This group, it would be better, and there would be some more oil in the social lubrication machine if you would be a little bit like these people doing this thing. It's just like the chameleon nature. I don't see any shame in that, I guess is what I'm saying. I think there's people who can do that, and it's a good thing. I understand that it makes it seem like he's always the same person, regardless of where he's at, and it makes it seem like he's more reliable or whatever, but I don't know. I think it can be taken too far. Because what if you're just always boring?
Yeah, especially if you have a boring name like Doug.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dougs. But y'all need to have a different type of name for your
Dougie's
party person. Party Doug is Dougie. Work Doug can be Doug. Home Doug can be Big D or just D. I would like to be called L somewhere. I just go by L, I like that. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of being all things to all people at different times.
And this one seems like you can remember. And you could keep it this way, Amy. You could be like, if any of my professional relationships that start with Amy become deeper, I'm just always Amy to those people, and it's fine, and it's not really that hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
And Amy can have secrets. Amy can have secrets. Amy can know things that the other Cheryl doesn't know.
Oh. That's right.
We're really talking about severance again.
Yeah, it's just people calling you different names helps you keep things straight. I mean, and if you're in a profession where you gotta like say you're a therapist, and you run into your client in the grocery store, well, you gotta what if you don't remember if they're a client or not? Well, it depends on what name they call you. That's my biggest fear. I don't know how I know you. So if you call me by a different name, it's like, oh, now I know how you know me.
Well, your therapist, I think, should probably recognize you.
Yeah.
And you should probably know that.
Yeah. But, so yeah, that kind of fizzled out.
But I understand,
but the starting point was good, which was a professional life of the therapist is supposed to be completely separate from personal. But I think different names would help with that. And I want that. So I'm going to start doing that.
Well, what's your name going to be?
I'm going to go with Big L in some places. I don't know where. I'm going to have to go into new environments. You know, I'm going into more DJ culture environments. I was telling you about that this morning. And maybe I should go into there with a different name and I just become a different person.
Well, you
Well,
have
you
a
do
DJ name.
Yeah, you're all kind of snuggle, but yeah, you could be ES. ES is like, you know,
ES.
ES is like an author name. Yeah, I'm ES. You go with a double initial name, that really speaks to people. Hey, I'm ES Neal.
Okay, I'll think about maybe just E.
E.
Yeah, I like that.
It could
That
be
work.
EHSB.
It's weird to get people to.
Well,
I mean, it's easy when you're introducing yourself.
Well, the problem that
we do have aliases for hotels.
I'm not sharing that, but the one I will share is, you know, when I'm ordering anything, and I do this for two reasons. I do it because Rhett is seemingly an impossible name for people to understand or spell.
Okay.
But also, I kind of don't. If they do know who I am, I'm kind of like, I don't want to make it too easy, right? And so I go by James, which is my middle name.
Yep.
But then my musical alter ego is James. And so he's not very popular, so it's not really a problem.
But if he got more popular, if you go into a circle as that, why don't you start introducing yourself as James? But then people are gonna follow you on Instagram, and you're gonna have to start a different account. It doesn't have any followers, and you want to use that blue check to your advantage. Am I right? So I don't think this is gonna work for us.
Yeah, you just completely blew the system up.
Yep.
Because now you've got
Blue
like,
check.
and just wanting to connect with people via social media, you have to be one person. This would have worked in the 80s when the dogs would run from you.
Right. The good old days. I don't know. Amy, I think we helped you. I think you're doing a good thing, and we are clearly jealous. You know, we're too far gone to do it, I think is what we've discovered. But you're not. You're in the middle of it. You've got this nail tech friend.
Ride the wave.
And then Amy can be you know, the person who makes friends with all types of people that do things for you.
Yeah, you need to be Amy to someone else, and then it won't seem like a big deal when you're Amy to this person. Once you become Amy to multiple people, it'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be Amy.
But those people need to be as separate as possible because you don't want to start intermingling too much.
You can't invite them to your birthday party because
All
then
right.
during the song it's gonna get awkward.
We are officially in the year 2025, along with you. Thanks for being here today. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk at you next week as well.
Yes.
Hi, Link, Rhett, and the whole rest of the crew over at Mythical Entertainment. Thank you so much for truly saving my life. I wanted to think one day you will truly know how much of an impact you guys have on us mythical beasts, especially me. After my dad passed in 2020, and when my wife passed last year in 2023, I could only think of one thing before doing something stupid. I put you guys on, and I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you so much. And my name is Damien, and I hope to hopefully make your guys' day just a little bit better, to help you guys know that you guys are doing amazing things in this world.